Thank you for making the time to speak to me. We had a really interesting morning at the European Court of Human Rights and the Venice Commission, which for me, as a journalist who's been following the Council of Europe for a long time, was quite a geeky, exciting sort of experience to actually go to these places that I've written about so much in the past. What I want to know from you, in terms of Albania, we've been a member of the Council of Europe since 1995. And what I want to know is, how do we stack up against other countries in terms of the number of cases filed at the European Court of Human Rights, and then what happens afterwards? So how well are we enforcing or not enforcing the judgments? Because this is the important bit.
Sure. Okay. Well, as a general rule, we try not to make league tables of our member states, but we look at each country individually. Yeah. And I can certainly give you some figures about Albania and the number of applications and their implementation. So last year, 2023, for example, there were 133 applications from Albania that were referred to a judicial formation of the court. So that means at least one judge is going to look at those applications. And that is compared to a total figure of around 35,000 applications last year. So Albania isn't the biggest customer of the court, if you like, by any means. But if you look at the number of applications in relation to population size, we see that for Albania last year, there were around 48 applications per 1 million inhabitants. Whereas for the Council of Europe as a whole, there were 41 applications per 1 million inhabitants. So it's kind of slightly above average, I guess. In terms of the number of judgments concerning Albania last year, again, Albania wasn't the biggest customer of the court by any means. There were 21 judgments against concerning Albania, and 20 of those found at least one violation of the Human Rights Convention. Oh. So it's a relatively small number of cases, but you can see that in most cases last year at least, the court found a violation. Then, as you know, after the court makes a judgment, it passes to the Council of Europe, the Committee of Ministers, to make sure that that judgment is put into practice. And if we look at the figures before the Committee of Ministers, we can see that so far Albania has closed around 53% of the judgments from the court. And that means the committee is satisfied that enough has been done by the authorities to rectify the violation that was found and to make sure that it doesn't happen again. We find that the implementation rate so far is around 39% for Albania. So there's room for improvement. There's room. But in a lot of these cases that are still showing as pending before the Committee of Ministers, states have already taken significant steps in the right direction. So that doesn't mean that 61% have been ignored or forgotten about. It means they're in progress. It's not that the government's gone, oh, we don't care about that, you know, we're not interested. It's maybe it takes time, they have to get to it, they have to figure out how to, there's a whole range of different factors. Yeah, and sometimes that means changing laws, possibly even changing the constitution. And those things take time and they can be very politically difficult. Especially in Albania, time is a problem, especially in our court system. We have a huge backlog of cases, we have a shortage of judges, of prosecutors, of everything, which brings me on to my next question. I often hear people saying, oh, you know, you should take this to the European Court of Human Rights. And then I hear the other party saying, oh, no, it's going to take too long, or maybe I can't afford it, or the fact that you have to exhaust domestic processes, legal recourse, before you can go to the European Court of Human Rights. I hear this a lot. Can you explain a bit for people who are watching, if they have a complaint which they think merits the attention of the European Court of Human Rights, do they have to exhaust the local court process? Does it have to take years and years and years? The convention and the convention system is very much a safety net, and it's supposed to be there to help people when things go wrong at national level. So we work together with our member states, and the main responsibility for implementing the convention is with the national authorities. So the court does insist that people go the whole way through the national system before they bring